My beloved child, when you learn to recognize that I am the one who reigns over all things, a rest will begin to rise within you that no circumstance can take away. That recognition is not merely a passing word on your lips, nor a beautiful thought meant to comfort you in your weakness. It is a holy decision, a laying down of yourself before the one who knows every path, sees every hidden thing, and still keeps you by an unchanging love. When you declare that I am higher than the storm, higher than fear, higher than threats, higher even than what you do not yet understand, you are stepping out of the heavy garment of carrying everything by yourself. You no longer have to live as though every outcome rests upon your small shoulders. You no longer have to stay awake through the night in anxiety, wondering how to control every detail, every person, every door, every shift of life. I did not create you to battle every wave of life alone. I call you near so that you may know there is a greater hand holding you, a wiser will guiding you, and a deeper kindness covering you, even in the hours when you think you have been forgotten. There have been days when you tried to manage everything by your own strength for far too long. You smiled while everything inside you was tangled, said you were fine while your heart was filled with unanswered questions, tried to appear strong before others. Yet, when you were alone, you felt the silent burdens pressing down upon you. I saw it all. I do not blame you for being tired. I do not condemn you for trembling. I do not turn my face away when you come to me in your brokenness. On the contrary, it is precisely when you no longer hide, no longer try to dress your pain in religious words, no longer try to prove that you are strong enough, that you begin to enter the honesty I cherish. You do not need to come to me with a perfect appearance. You only need to come with a truthful heart, a heart that knows it needs to be lifted, enlightened, healed, and led forward. I want you to understand that prayer is not a place where you must use beautiful words to persuade me to care about you. I cared before you even knew how to name your pain. I saw you before your sigh had a chance to become sound. I already knew what was weighing upon your mind, the decisions that left you uncertain, the wounds still aching beneath your silence, and even the things you were afraid to say because you feared being seen as weak. When you kneel in the secret place, you do not enter a cold emptiness. You enter the arms of the one who has long been waiting for you. I do not need you to hide your questions. I do not need you to offer me an edited version of yourself. Bring me everything that is most real, your worry, your confusion, your fading hope, the relationships that wound you, the unclear turns before you, the things you do not know whether to hold or release. Nothing within you surprises me, and nothing is too heavy for me to carry on your behalf. Remember the story of King Hezekiah when he received a letter filled with threats from a powerful enemy. In human eyes, he had every reason to panic, to make hurried calculations, to seek temporary alliances, or to let fear take over his heart. But instead of clutching that letter and sinking into despair, he spread it out before me. He did not pretend the danger was not real. He did not deny that he was surrounded. But he also did not allow that threatening voice to become the final voice. He placed what frightened him in the place of prayer. And there he remembered that my throne is higher than every earthly throne, my authority greater than every army, and my faithfulness more enduring than every crisis. Do you see? What made the difference was not that he had no enemy, but that he knew where to bring the threat. He did not let fear lead him. He let my presence direct him. In the same way, my child, bring your letter before me. That letter may not be written in ink on paper, but it is written in pressure, in worry, in messages that wound you, in bills that make you uneasy, in judgments that cause you to doubt yourself, in an unclear future that makes you feel small. Place it all upon the altar of surrender. Do not keep in your hands the things that make them tremble. Do not cling tightly to burdens I have invited you to give to me. There are things you cannot solve simply by thinking about them through another sleepless night. There are knots that are not untied through tension, but through surrender. There are doors that do not open because you pound harder, but because you step back enough for me to move forward in my way. In holy stillness, speak to me with the honest breath of your soul. Tell me that you need me to guide you. Tell me that you do not want to follow impulse, that you do not want to be driven by fear, that you do not want to choose a path merely because it appears easy before your eyes. Ask me to give you eyes that recognize what is truly good, ears that hear my gentle prompting, and a heart humble enough to stop when I say stop. Move forward when I say move forward. Let go when I say let go. And wait when I say wait. You do not need elaborate words. A sincere cry can reach the highest depths. For I do not measure prayer by its length, but by the honesty of the heart turned toward me. So, my beloved child, let your prayer become like pure water flowing from the hidden depths. My merciful Father, please look upon the things I cannot fully express in words. Illuminate the paths before me. Guard me from traps covered in attractive appearances, and draw me away from roads that do not belong to your goodwill. Place your peace like a fortress around my mind, so that I will not be swept away by confusion. Cover my family, those I love, and even those who need mercy but do not yet know how to call upon you. Clothe me with wisdom from heaven, gentle courage, and a faith that knows how to stand firm when I must step into unfamiliar land. Teach me not to carry everything by my own strength, but to depend on you in every breath, every decision, every season of waiting, and every opposing wind. And after you have spoken everything to me, remain a little longer in the silence. Do not rush to stand up, only to carry all your burdens away again as before. Let my presence soak into the places within you that have grown tense. Let my peace replace the anxious conversations you have repeated again and again in your mind. Let me remind you that you are not alone, not abandoned, not forgotten by name in this vast universe. I know you. I call you my child. I am leading you through the things you do not yet understand. And even when you cannot see the way opening, I am still preparing each step beneath your feet. My child, from this day forward, whenever worry returns and knocks at your door, do not receive it as the master of the house. Bring it before me. Whenever a threat tries to make you tremble, remember that no voice is higher than mine. Whenever you feel yourself being pulled into the spiral of managing everything on your own, stop and return to this truth. I am the one who reigns. I am your refuge. I am the Father who never fails, and I do not abandon you in any storm. You can lay down what is heavy. You can breathe again in peace. You can keep walking without needing to know every answer, because the one who walks with you knows the way home, knows tomorrow, and knows how to turn even the things that frighten you today into testimonies of mercy tomorrow. My beloved child, I am bringing you into a deeper way of life, where you are no longer swept away by every outward change and no longer allow passing emotions to steer your life. I did not create you so that every time circumstances change, your heart changes with them, so that every time someone speaks a word of doubt, you immediately lose your peace, so that every time pressure rises, you react like someone with no refuge. I am teaching you to live from the inside outward, to live by the gentle guidance I place in the hidden depths, not like a leaf carried wherever the winds of life may blow. A guided life is not a slow or weak life, but a rooted life, a watchful life, a life able to discern what is a call from me and what is only the noise of fear. You will learn that not everything requires an immediate response from you. There are words that wound you, But I do not want you to rush to answer them merely to defend a wounded pride. There are situations that demand decisions, but I want you to pause long enough to ask me what is truly happening beneath the surface. There are doors that open very quickly, very attractively, very reasonably in the eyes of the world. But I want you to know how to wait and see whether my peace is there. When you begin to ask me before you move, listen before you speak, and remain still before you choose, you are not losing strength. On the contrary, you are entering a holier kind of strength. The strength of one who is not ruled by circumstances, not dragged by emotions, and not controlled by the words of others. I know you once thought that being quick meant reacting immediately, proving yourself clearly, answering sharply, and acting at once so you would not be left behind. But my child, in my kingdom, the truly strong are not those who always move forward, but those who know when to stand still in wisdom. The truly courageous are not those who always rush into battle, but those who can discern which battle I have assigned and which battle fear has created. There are times when I tell you to advance, because the land before you is one I have prepared. But there are also times when I tell you to hide yourself, not to escape, but to be covered, restored, and able to hear my voice more clearly amid so many mixed sounds. Hiddenness in me is not failure. It is the place where the chosen learn not to act out of agitation, but according to divine sending. Remember the story of David when he had the chance to touch Saul in the cave. Before his eyes, everything seemed to support a decisive action. The man pursuing him was within reach. The men with him also believed it was the moment to end all suffering. If David had lived by reaction, he could have used that opportunity to rescue himself, open his own way, and prove his right. But he did not let injustice make the decision in place of his reverence for me. He chose to stop. He chose not to use his own hand to seize what only I had the authority to give at the right time. And that restraint revealed the depth within him. Do you see? Sometimes greatness does not lie in what you are able to do, but in knowing what you should not do, even when you have the opportunity to do it. In the same way, I am training you to place your strength under my guidance. You do not need to answer every misunderstanding. You do not need to explain to everyone what I am doing within you. You do not need to prove the vision I placed in your heart to those who were never called to understand your journey. Some people will look at you with doubt because they see only your present, not my hand preparing your future. Some people will use their own experiences to limit your calling because they cannot imagine what I am building beyond familiar patterns. Some people who love you may still speak words that make you hesitate, not because they have evil intentions, but because they see you through their fear rather than through my purpose. Therefore, do not allow outside voices to become the final voice in your heart. Respect wise counsel, but do not worship the agreement of the crowd. Know how to listen to others, but do not let their judgment replace my guidance. There are things I place within you that not everyone will recognize right away. There are steps I ask you to take that others will find difficult to understand. There are seasons when I lead you into separation, not to make you lonely, but to protect the tender thing growing within you from hands that do not know how to treasure it. When I light a flame in you, not everyone knows how to stand near it without putting it out. So you must learn to guard what I have entrusted to you, not with bitter isolation, but with holy wisdom. There will come moments when you stand before a very clear choice. Either let fear write the next chapter of your story, or let the Holy Spirit guide each stroke in the design I have prepared. Fear always pushes you to hurry. It tells you that you will miss your chance if you do not act immediately, that you will be forgotten if you do not raise yourself up, that you will be looked down upon if you do not respond. But my guidance is different. I do not pull you into chaos. I do not sow within you a haste that steals your peace. When I urge you forward, there is still a clarity that comes with it. When I warn you, there is still love that upholds you. When I tell you to wait, that waiting does not cause you to decay, but to mature. When I tell you to move, even though many things around you remain uncertain, you will still sense a deep support that no words can fully explain. My beloved child, in the days ahead, the difference between those who live by reaction and those who live by guidance will become increasingly clear. It will not be seen in louder voices, more impressive appearances, or attention-grabbing actions, but in the depth of peace, in endurance through trials, in the ability to love without losing wisdom, in silence without weakness, and in courage without arrogance. Some will chase every new wind, every compliment or criticism, every pressure from circumstances, but others will stand firm like trees planted near streams of water, because their roots go deep into my presence. I am calling you into that company, the ones who do not need noise to be recognized by heaven, who do not need self-promotion to be used by me, and who do not need to prove themselves with words, because their lives have already become evidence. Do not be afraid if you feel that you are being drawn away from the hurried rhythm of others. Do not be confused if I make you no longer comfortable with old reactions, old habits, and old ways of defending yourself. You are not losing yourself. You are being brought closer to the person I destined you to become. I am changing how you hear, how you see, how you answer, how you wait, and how you walk. I am placing within you a sensitivity to recognize when a door comes from me, when an opportunity is only a temptation covered in false light, when a battle requires you to stand, and when the wisest thing is to withdraw into stillness so that I may act on your behalf. So let your heart rest in my hands. Do not let pressure make you forget to ask me. Do not let judgment cause you to lose sight of your calling. Do not let doubtful eyes make you shrink what I have planted within you. I do not require you to understand every step before you obey. I only invite you to trust that the one who leads you knows the way better than you do. When I tell you to move forward, you will not walk alone. When I tell you to wait, that waiting is also within a loving plan. When I tell you to be silent, that silence will protect what is precious. When I tell you to speak, your words will carry weight that does not come from anger, but from maturity forged in the secret place. My beloved child, there are seasons when I do not immediately calm the wind, not because I do not hear your cry, and not because I stand far from your trembling. I see every tear you hide. Every night you lie still while your heart remains restless. Every moment you wonder why you have tried to live uprightly yet still must pass through fierce days. But my child, there are things that, if I rescued you from them too soon, you would only know me as the one who brings you out of trouble. But if I preserve you right in the midst of trouble, you will know me as the one who has authority even over the darkest place. I do not leave you in the trial to wear you down, but so that in that very place you may discover a new depth of my presence, a power that not only pulls you out of the depths, but also enables you to stand firm while the depths have not yet closed. You often think that my protection always takes the form of a quick escape, but many times, that protection is the quiet strength that keeps you from falling apart while everything around you is still shaking. I can make the wind stop in a single moment, but sometimes I choose to make your heart steadfast before I make the sea calm. For I know that if only the outward storm is silenced while your inner life is still ruled by fear, you will tremble again before the next storm. I want you not only to receive a miracle, but to become a living witness to that miracle. I want you not only to say that I saved you, but also to show others how I lifted you, how I kept you, and how I turned the days that seemed like the end into a place where my glory was revealed. There are people watching you whom you do not even know. They watch how you walk through pressure, how you remain silent before words that hurt, how you choose gentleness when you could have become bitter, how you still bow your head in prayer when you have not yet seen a clear answer. They may not say it aloud, but they are observing. They want to know what keeps you from collapsing. They want to know why there is still light in your eyes after things that should have extinguished you. And precisely when you think you are at your weakest, I am using your perseverance like a lamp set on a high place, so that the weary, the confused, and the lost may see that there is still a source of strength that does not come from human beings. Still a love that upholds when every other support has gone. Remember, not every storm is a sign that you have taken the wrong path. Sometimes you are obeying, walking in the right direction, leaving the old shore according to my call, and yet the wind still rises. Do not be quick to condemn yourself simply because the journey has become difficult. Do not think that a path with me means there will be no trials. There are journeys where I allow great waves to appear, not to drown you, but so that you may discover that my power is not limited by calm conditions. People find it easy to believe when the sky is clear, but faith is refined when the wind blows against them. People find it easy to praise when everything is favorable, but praise, offered through tears, carries a different fragrance before me. When you still choose to trust me while you do not understand, still choose to move forward while you cannot yet see, still choose to love while your heart is still wounded. That is, when you are declaring to heaven and earth that I am worthy of trust not only on bright days, but also in the long night. Long ago, Paul also entered a journey filled with storms. He was not following his own impulsiveness, but was on a road my plan had permitted to open. Yet the sea still raged. The ship was battered, and the hope of survival for many almost disappeared. In the eyes of those on the ship, it was nothing but disaster. In their feeling, everything seemed to be drifting toward loss. But in the midst of that chaos, I placed within Paul a calm, unlike ordinary human calm. He stood among panic-stricken people and brought assurance, not by his own strength, but by faith in the one who had spoken to him in the darkness of the night. The ship was eventually broken apart, but lives were preserved. What seemed like failure became the path through which many witnessed my faithfulness. And when Paul set foot on the island of Malta, a place that seemed merely like a landing point after disaster, I opened an opportunity for healing, service, and the revelation of my kindness before those who had never known such power. Do you see? Sometimes I do not save you by keeping the ship intact. At times, I allow you to lose an old structure, an old support, an old way of controlling things. But I still keep you in my hand. You may think you have lost too much, but I tell you that what matters most is still being protected by me. Some of the broken pieces you hold with tears today will become the planks that carry you to tomorrow's shore. Some things you cannot hold on to are not lost because I have abandoned you, but because I am bringing you into a new land where your testimony will no longer be only a story of pain, but a song of my wondrous preservation. So do not be ashamed when you are in a stormy season. Do not think that tears make you less strong. Before me, a heart that knows how to weep and still believe is more precious than a face that appears firm while the soul within has already departed from hope. I do not require you to pretend to have peace when you are trembling. I only invite you to place that trembling in my hands. I do not tell you to deny pain, but I teach you not to let pain become the throne that rules your life. Let me sit upon that throne. Let my voice be greater than the wind. Let my presence be deeper than fear. Let your heart be anchored in me, not in circumstances that change from hour to hour. Then there will be people who look at you and cannot explain why you are still standing. They will remember that you were tested, misunderstood, and taken through days when it seemed you had no strength left. But they will also see that you did not become bitter as they expected, that you did not use your wounds to wound others, that you did not use loss as a reason to close your heart to the light. They will see you choose forgiveness, not because the wrong was small, but because you do not want to carry chains within your soul. They will see you choose prayer instead of curses, faithfulness instead of giving up, gentleness instead of revenge. And when they see these things, a question will awaken within them. What has made this person different? That very question will become a crack in the door through which my light enters their lives. My beloved child, there will come a day when you no longer need to look around for outward signs before daring to believe that I am with you. There will come a time when your heart no longer trembles simply because something you expected has not yet happened, and no longer rushes to conclude that my silence means my distance. I did not create you to live dependent on fleeting things before your eyes, because what your eyes see today may change tomorrow. But what I plant within you is more enduring than every passing wind. I want you to learn to stand firm upon the quiet peace I place in your heart, a peace that is not loud, not showy, but strong enough to keep you from collapsing when everything around you changes. When you truly mature in my guidance, you will understand that not every closed door is a loss. Sometimes it is my loving hand preventing you from entering a place that would weary you, wound you, and draw you away from the purpose I have for you. Do not grieve when certain things you once prayed for are not placed in your hands in the way you expected. Some gifts, if they come too soon, become burdens. Some paths, if you enter them before your heart is prepared, will lead you far from my gentle calling. I see the end of the road while you only see its beginning. I know what is hidden beneath the outward beauty, what is covered with sweet promises, yet does not produce peace within you. Therefore, when I withhold something, it is not because I am stingy toward you, but because I am protecting you from what you do not yet have the vision to recognize. You may have thought it was a delay, but in my wisdom, it was mercy. You may have thought it was rejection, but in my plan, it was an arrangement so that you would not trade the precious thing within you for a short-lived joy. Remember that I do not lead you like a harsh master pulling you forward through fear. I lead you by love, by gentle reminders, by small promptings in the heart, by silences that cause you to stop and listen more deeply. When you step aside from the path, I do not quickly abandon you. When you misunderstand, I do not cast you into loneliness. I patiently adjust each rhythm of your steps, like a father bending down to tie the sandals of a small child before the child continues along a long road. There are times when that correction makes you uncomfortable, because what I touch is often the very place where you are clinging most tightly. But, my child, my discipline is not meant to shame you, but to make you lighter, clearer, and freer. I do not take away what truly belongs to you. I only loosen from your hands the things that keep you from receiving the better portion. As you go deeper in discernment, you will no longer judge everything merely by its outward convenience. You will understand that a smooth road is not always the road I have chosen, and a path with many sharp stones is not always a place you must avoid. Some ease comes to test your heart, to see whether you will choose comfort over obedience. Some trials come like a strong wind that blows you back into the right direction, even though at first you only feel shaken. I can use a delay to save you from a hasty decision. I can use a refusal to open within you a new humility. I can use a season that seems dry to teach you to seek a deeper source of water. one not found in praise, opportunities, or the recognition of people, but in the quiet nearness between you and me. Long ago, there was a man named Jonah. He heard my call but went in another direction, thinking he could choose a farther path to escape what I had entrusted to him. The ship he boarded seemed like an open door, with a place to go, a way to flee, and wind to leave the shore. But not every journey that begins smoothly is the right journey. When the sea rose up and everything around him began to shake, it was not destruction meant to bury him, but mercy stopping him before he lost his calling. In the depths he did not choose. He learned how to return. I did not abandon him in the darkness. I prepared even a strange means to preserve him and bring him back to the road he should have taken. Do you see? Sometimes what you call a crisis is my hand turning your direction. Sometimes the place you thought was the end is the hidden room where you hear my voice more clearly than ever before. So do not be quick to curse the opposing wind, and do not be quick to weep over a door that does not open. Ask me what I am teaching you in that moment. Let your heart become soft before my wisdom. When you kneel, do not bring me only a list of things you want me to do. Bring me a heart willing to be shaped. I want your prayer to be not only a cry for provision, but also a cry to understand, to surrender, and to walk in step with my goodwill. When you only want me to change your circumstances, you will easily be disappointed if circumstances do not change. But when you long to be nearer to me, you will realize that even amid unresolved circumstances, I am still doing a deep work within you.